Hi, this is Elijah. Today we're going to be going over a subject which many Latin students find confusing to begin with, but which really is not that complicated, and that is the supine. This is a subject that many people find confusing when they first encounter it, but which really is not that complicated. And hopefully at the end of this video you will have no more questions about it and never have to worry about understanding it again. So to start off with, what is the supine? Well, simply put, the supine is a verbal noun that is formed using fourth declension endings. So basically, you've taken the stem of a verb and then you've added fourth declension endings to it to make it into a noun. You're only ever going to see two cases of the fourth declension used to form a supine. That is the accusative singular and the ablative singular. So, or u. Those are the only two endings you'll ever see used to form a supine. Supine can be used for one of two things. It can either be used to express purpose, and in that case you use the accusative, or it can be used to express an ablative of respect, or some like to say an ablative of specification. Now there are some more complicated rules to it, so let's go ahead and see what those are. So for the accusative supine of purpose, there are a few things to keep in mind. First of all, it is only ever used with verbs of motion. That's the number one thing to keep in mind if you're using accusative supine of purpose. Typically it's used with the verbs ira or venira, though it can be used with other motion verbs such as mitera. And it's going to be used to express the purpose of that motion. So for example, Dominus venit postulatum pecuniam, the landlord went to demand the money. The supine there is postulatum, the verb that is expressing the motion of is venit, and then of course you have the pecuniam and dominus for the subject and direct object. They're just part of the sentence. Now there is one thing to keep in mind there, that the accusative supine of purpose does not have to have a direct object, because not all verbs have direct objects. So it is possible to just have the verb followed by the supine and no direct object, and it can still be used to express purpose. So that's the only thing to keep in mind with that, in case it confuses you. 2. The ablative supine of respect. This is used to express an ablative of respect, which, if any of you have forgotten, is an ablative where you use it to specify something about a noun or verb. So in the example here, which is from Book 2 of Virgil's Aeneid, it says mirabile dictu. That is usually translated as wonderful to say or wonderful to tell, but in fact it would be more accurate to translate as wonderful with respect to saying or wonderful with respect to telling, because that is in fact the literal way that you would translate it, because you have the ablative of respect being used here. So you have the ablative supine of respect using the noun stem, dict, and then the fourth declension ablative singular ending u, and then that modifies the adverb here, mirabile, or excuse me, the adjective here, mirabile. So you're only going to see it used with adjectives or nouns, obviously, because it's an ablative of respect. Typically, it'll be used with adjectives. You will rarely see it used with fas, nefas, and opus, but those are the only three nouns it's ever been used with, and that's unless you become a very, very in-depth Latin scholar, you probably won't see it. So, for all intents and purposes, the ablative supine of respect will only be used with adjectives. And that's it. So if you are confused, reiterate, you will use the supine to express purpose, verb, or to express a specification about an adjective or an ablative of respect. That's a grammatical term. You will use fourth declension endings, and u, to form it, and it will only be used accusative with motion verbs in the case of with some adjectives, and then the three nouns, fas, nefas, and opus. If you found that helpful, if you did, please give this video a big like. If you still have questions or comments, concerns, then please comment below, telling them to me so I can answer them or your suggestions to future videos. Please go to my Tutorocian profile if you found this helpful and are interested in working with me some more. I would love to work one-on-one with you to help you understand this wonderful language. Thank you, and goodbye.